Welcome to the pre-recorded September NMOA statewide football meeting. Today's presenter is Steve Wagner. Steve is currently in his 20th year as an NMOA football official. He's been the Central Region Albuquerque Football Officials Association president twice and vice president, and is currently serving the association as the secretary. Steve is also the umpires and first and second year future veterans officials group leader, and he's been assigned to 3 state championships and 1 all-star game. His presentation will focus on offensive holding plays. Please enjoy this short presentation. And remember, we're using these as an opportunity to learn and grow. If at any time, please let us know if you have any questions.
Hi, this is Steve Wagner with Albuquerque Football Officials. I'd like to take a little of your time, maybe 10, 20 minutes, to talk about holding. Holding on offense is a use of a player's hands, arms, or legs to hook, block, clamp, or grasp, encircle, or hold in an effort to restrain an opponent. It is not common to have holding on a double team. However, you could if the defender beats the double team. These references are taken straight out of the high school rulebook. Offensive holding indicators: you need to see the whole play from start to finish on the engagement of the hold to have a hold. Was it big enough to see without repeatedly looking at it on video? If you have to look at it over and over and zoom in on it, it's probably not big enough. Are the blocker's hands inside the frame of the defender? They're not a big bear hug. You keep them inside, they're moving their feet to maintain the block. And also, if they're beat, they might cheat. That's when you'll see that arm extended and the extended grab. Also, you have to consider, is there an advantage or disadvantage given as a result of the hold? More indicators. Is the hold at the point of attack? Holds behind the play should be called if they're excessive or potentially a personal foul. Otherwise, this should be a talk-to player for both the holding player doing the holding and the player being held. If you don't acknowledge the hold away from and communicate to both players why you don't have a flag, it will lead to frustration on the player being held and potentially a more serious foul later in the game. Holding on the interior line may have less impact than the perimeter. Holding on the perimeter at the point of attack need not be severe to spring a runner free. When in doubt, it is legal use of the hands rather than holding or illegal use of the hands. When you might pass on holding action. A quick grasp and a release is something you could pass on. Action never restricted the defender's penetration up the field. The defender was held but still made the play. The runner already passed the point where the holding occurred and the action wasn't big enough and the game was out of hand. Holding on defense. A defensive player shall not use his hands or arms to hook, block, clamp, grasp, encircle, or hold in an effort to restrain an opponent other than the runner. Also, there's an exception to this. A defensive player may also push, pull, or ward off an opponent in an actual attempt to get at the runner or a loose ball if such contact is not pass interference, personal foul, or illegal use of hands. You'll see this happen a lot on a turnover or a loose ball rolling around on the field. In most cases, for defensive holding, there is no advantage to hold an offensive player. The defensive holding on a receiver may occur from the snap until the passer releases the ball on a forward pass which crosses the neutral zone. Contact after the ball is released is potentially defensive pass interference, not holding. Common defensive holds are a grab and restrict that disrupts the receiver's pass route, or the pull and shoot, where a defensive lineman grabs an offensive lineman, pulling him to one side, allowing a teammate to rush through, creating an opening. How can we improve and be consistent? Watch video. There's lots of video out there. Watch yours, watch others. All schools in the state of New Mexico are submitting video of varsity games. They have been for the past 2 or 3 years. My TV in Albuquerque, for the folks that can get that channel, is televising a high school game a week. You can see the referee penalty signals and the enforcement often. They don't cut off during the dead ball plays like the huddle clips are. So you can see continuous operation of the film. APS just announced in today's paper that the APS live streaming will be available soon, as well as other schools around the state. You can go to YouTube Georgia high school football has a ton of good YouTube stuff out there. There's lots of YouTube videos. You can get in-person evaluations from your local region. You can also get NMOA video evaluations. Those are available today and have been for a few years now. Coaches have been already requesting them. Officials can request them. With that in mind, I have a few videos that we can take a look at. Okay, let's take a look at some clips. These are random clips that have been sent in to the evaluators. Either coaches send them in or officials can request an evaluation through the NMOA. These evaluations are not meant to be personal and should be used to improve our skills and consistency as high school officials. If you don't think this is going on, these clips have been going in now for a couple of years now. In fact, this year we actually had Yaffle send a film clip in, and it went to our friend Lan Clark, NFL referee, and he actually did an evaluation on a Yaffle play. That was pretty cool. Anyways, there's 5 clips here. It'll just take a few minutes for me to go through these with you, and hopefully we can all learn something together. On this first play, let's take a look at number 88, the left tight end that's in the circle. This is a great call for holding. Yeah, it's on the backside, but it is a takedown, and it's directly in front of the handoff with the running back. I'm going to play it again here for you. Just as the running back is receiving the ball, it's very close to the foul itself. The takedown holds are big. This absolutely should be called. If we let this stuff go, we'll lose credibility with the coaches and fans. I also really like the flag placement. Great job, great spot on the flag, great backside coverage of a play. It reminds us all to look at that. Now, as you recall, earlier we were talking about if there's a play away, and again, this was away, but it was close to the action, so we definitely have a flag. We also have a flag because there was a bear hug and a takedown on this. I'll play it one more time as I'm talking. Now, if this was different, for example, had that been just a grab and restrict, not a bear hug and a takedown, and let's say the quarterback flipped the ball out to that receiver on the top right of the screen, that would be clearly away from the play, and perhaps maybe it might even just be a talk to, okay? If you have a play that's a hold that's away from the play and it's a talk to, make sure you talk to both the player that did the hold and the player that was held, letting them know why you didn't have a flag on that. Otherwise, that could lead to frustration later on. Next clip. Okay, on this clip, take a look at the block is made by left tackle number 55 in the circle. During the initial charge, he legally shoves the defender to the ground. The defender stands up, and then he gets pancaked with a legal pancake. There you go, 2 or 3 times. The evaluation on this was believed that this is not a foul. Had the defender still been on the ground and A55 piles on top of him, or had the pass been clearly away, there's no need for a block in the backfield, then this would have risen to the level of unnecessary roughness. So this would have been a no call. Sorry for the delay here. On this next clip, clip number 3, take a look at the blocking question, and I repeat, blocking question is by A7 in the circle on the B21 at the point of attack. A7 is immediately beat off the snap, right there, to seal the edge. Instead, he grabs a hold of 21 and turns his shoulder slightly, giving him a tug backwards. The restriction is rather slight, but is directly in front of the runner. See how close they are? I mean, he's basically 1 step away from making a tackle. The evaluator believed that the restriction, B21, was enough to possibly prevent him from making a play in the backfield, and this would have been supported as a holding call. Let's run that one back again. Once again, I'll remind you this is an edge play, and it doesn't take much of a disruption for an edge play to make a difference. Let's go see if we can't catch that little bit of a tug. Right there, right just before that, and then a little bit holder. And you can see, I mean, he grabbed enough of his jersey to uncover his shoulder pads on this play. So there it was. Was that enough? It was about a half step. It was so close to the action that easily would have been supported as a hold. Clip number 4. Let's take a look at the center on this. The center grabs the defender but maintains his position as the defender rushes to the right of the center. The defender takes him out of the play, not the action of the center. The play goes to left outside the tackle. So when we talk about this, I'm going to go ahead and let it play again. We want to know what the effect is on the play. We want maybe the umpire to slow down on that flag a little bit, see what the effect of that play is as a result. The other thing I'd like to mention on this particular play is watch what happens when he goes off to the side. Now there are 2 players. So the defender moves, looks like pretty much on his own initially at least, to the left. Now, is there a grab right here? Possibly, but there's also a double team. Remember, we talked about double teams. It's rare to have a call on a double team. Also, look at the action here. Where's the center relative to the running back? He's squared up in a pretty good position to be between the running back and the defender. So this one, with the double team, with the positioning, with the player going left, the action going the other direction, would probably not have had a flag on this play. Let's take a look at clip number 5, our last one. On this play, we're going to take a look at right tackle number 64 in the circle. Right tackle A64 is beat off the snap to the outside. However, he gets his arms out and contacts the defender with force from the side. A64 pushes him off and then finishes him off with a push to the ground. Now, the initial evaluation on this was that there wasn't enough here to be called a takedown or a solid hold. However, what I'd like to do is remind you that plays on the edge do not need much. It doesn't have to be very significant to have an impact on the play. We talked about that earlier. Also, I want you to look at the body language of the defender as he's coming in contact with that tackle. See if you don't see a dip or a buckle of the legs or anything. Does he maintain right there? I would maintain that he gets folded backwards just ever so slightly right there. And the other thing is, take a look at the position of the arms of that defender. His left arm is over the back and outside of the defender. His right arm is not visible to us. It's probably to the inside. Could be almost a bear hug right here. But from this camera angle, we can't see what's going on with that right arm. So is that a hold? Well, I guess I'd maintain that from the clip, it's very difficult to make a decision on that. However, the referee, if he's in a good position, which we don't see here, most likely you might have had a better angle in that right arm, and you could have potentially had a flag. There was a flag called on this. Initial evaluation was it might not be big enough for that. But again, these evaluations are meant to generate discussion. And actually probably had an encroachment there by the defense. He just stepped across the line. I didn't notice that. Right there, potentially. Anyways. So, again, these are meant to generate conversation. The other thing I'll mention on that is, did that hold prevent the success of the sack here? Okay, the hold would have been at the 30-yard line, and the quarterback is sacked at the 26, it looks like. So that's another thing to keep in mind. Anyways, lots of discussion. Hopefully these videos will generate more interest, get more people looking at videos. Look, as I said before, you learn from your mistakes, so watch my video. You're going to learn a lot. I hope you guys watch a lot of film and have a great season. Thanks.
Thank you again for joining our presentation. Don't forget, your state rules test is due in just a few days. Make sure you fill out the attendance form on the original email sent with this video recorded link.